make me do this. Just kidding. We are going to talk about causative verbs. And if you make someone do something, you're actually causing them to do something, right? So that's the whole point of causative verbs. It's actually someone or something that causes a certain outcome to take place. So let's talk about causative verbs. This comes up a lot in TOEFL writing. I'm going to share my screen with you and let's take a look. So as I just stated, right, a causative verb is used when one person or thing causes something to happen. So someone can cause someone to do something by asking them, persuading them, or forcing them. So when I said to you, don't make me do this, you were potentially forcing me to do something I didn't want to do. It was a very strong causative verb. But we could have a causative verb on the other end. You know, think about range. So make someone do something is very strong. But if we ask them to do something or persuade them to do something, right, that's not as strong. So as we go through these verbs, watch the range that we can get here, all right? And the first three causative verbs that we'll go over is let, have, and make, okay? So let's take a look at let. My boss let me go home early. Now, compared to make, that's pretty passive. It's not that strong, right? It's on the gentler side of this range. She has me clean her room for her every day. She has me clean her room. So again, this is a little bit stronger now than let. And here we have the strongest. Mom made me take my vitamins, right? She was not gonna let me get away with it. Let me get away with it. So she forced me to take vitamins, right? That would be the strength. So let's look at the structure, because the reason why I'm presenting this information to you, this grammar point, is because there are a lot of mistakes that I see when students want to use let. And the biggest mistake I will tell you right now is this: my boss let me to go home early. Okay, and I always start singing the song, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Okay, the Beatles sang that song, right? And they just said, let it be. The song does not go, let it to be, right? That is not the song. In fact, if it were the song, it would be a pretty terrible song. So we have to get rid of the to here. There's a tendency to write the to, which is the infinitive to go. In this case, it'd be to clean or to take. But notice in all of these, there is no to, okay? You will never, ever, ever use a to with let or have or make. So you just have to remember that. Just have to memorize there's no to when I use let, have, and make in the causative sense, okay? I'm gonna get rid of this for now, and I'll leave the Beatles song right there. Some recent students were singing let it go from Frozen. They didn't sing let it to go, right? So if that helps you remember that there is no to after let, perfect, that's what I want. Don't forget it, let it go, let it be, Let has no to, and neither does have or make. So let's look at the proper setup of this. We have the verb, which is either let, have, or make. So here's my verb right here. Pronoun or noun. In this case, it's a pronoun, me. And then the bare infinitive, which means yes, no to. So the bare infinitive here would be take. All right, if it were the infinitive, it'd say to take, right? But it's just the bare infinitive, just the verb, no to. Let's look at some examples. We let him come. So here's my verb, let. Here's my pronoun or noun, him, and come. And this is interesting because it could be yesterday, right? Let's do a little playfulness with some tenses. Yesterday, we let him come. And present tense, today, we let him come. Or in other words, let me try this. We let him come every day. So it's a fact. That would be the present tense. Now let's go to the future. We will let him come tomorrow. Okay? So notice that this let doesn't do a whole lot of changing, just stays like that. Okay, here's our next one. He had, there's the verb, us clean the house before we ate. So this could be simple past tense right here. You know, yesterday he had us clean the house before we ate. Let's do every day. Every day he has us clean the house before we eat. That would be the simple present tense. And then let's do future. He will have us clean the house tomorrow before we eat. Okay, and that would be the future tense. And one more here, make. Art makes people think. Now this is in the present tense already. It's stated like as if it were a fact. Art makes people think. Let's try the past tense. Maybe the piece of art I saw yesterday made me think. And that would be the past tense. And let's go into the future now. Art, maybe it's some specific art that's being produced right now. This art will make people think. And here is your future tense. Fantastic. Okay. So once again, the biggest thing to remember with this is that there is no to when you're using let, have, or make in the causative way. Okay, now here's a note right here. It says, be careful with the strength of a causative verb. So I indicated this at the beginning, right? There's a big difference between don't make me do it and, oh, thanks for letting me do it. Big difference in strength, right? This is really forceful and strong. This means you're getting permission, there's allowance there. So a common mistake that I see with students is they'll write something like this. The scholarship made me go to school. Well, this is incorrect. This is the wrong choice of a causative verb because the scholarship can't make you do anything. It's not like the scholarship is standing there like, you must go to school right now. Otherwise, you are gonna stay in your room for the rest of your life, you know? That's not what the scholarship does. It doesn't make you go to school. It allows you to go to school, right? But someone who could make you go to school would be your parents. Maybe your parents stood at the door They forced you to go to school. My parents made me go to school. Now you can use this. This is appropriate to use. This is not appropriate to use, right? So an alternative might be, as I said, the scholarship allowed me to go to school, or the scholarship enabled me to go to school. That would be a really good substitution. That's more accurate. It opened up opportunities. Okay, it didn't force you to do anything. It didn't make you do it. And notice what happens. The to is back in the game, okay? So we will discuss these verbs in a moment that will actually take the to, okay? Let's scroll down. If you really want to use make here as your verb, the scholarship made it possible for me to go to school, okay? So if you then say made something possible, now that fits the meaning better. The scholarship itself didn't make you go to school. It made certain conditions possible for you to go. It allowed those conditions to happen. So if you want to do that, that would be a good way to state it as well. And let's just say we want to say this in the simple present tense, like it's a fact. Scholarships make it possible for students to go to school. Okay, so that would be in the present. And if we were in the future, scholarships will make it possible for students to go to school. Okay, let's go on to another interesting causative verb, which is help. And notice here my note, it says to or no to. So this is interesting because help is the verb that you could use to, or you don't have to use to. It doesn't matter. It's still the same meaning, and it just will take a to or not. It's up to you. Okay, so with help, it really can go either way. So for example, you could say coffee helps me wake up. There's no to there, right? Coffee helps me wake up. Okay, but you could add in the to if you wanted to. You can say coffee helps me to wake up. Coffee helps me to wake up. You could say he helped me fix the car. You can also say he helped me to fix the car. Okay. And notice that this is the same structure we studied before: verb, pronoun or noun, and then your verb here, that's the bare infinitive or the infinitive, right? Bare infinitive means no to, infinitive means to, and then the verb, right? So you can also, this is obviously not the only way you can use help. You can not have a noun after help. We could get actually rid of the me or people or whoever this is that he's helping. He helped to demonstrate the procedure. He helped demonstrate the procedure. So in this case, he's not really causing someone to do something. Okay, so in this sense, it's not acting like a causative verb. Okay, but I just put this in here to let you know that, of course, you can use help without the pronoun or noun right after it. You're just not in the causative sense, right? Okay, let's move on to those other verbs that are going to get a to, and they need a to always. So remember, let, make, have, let it be, let it go. They don't have a to. But if we look at this word, get, we use it in the causative sense, it's going to have a to. The lecture got me to think. He got someone to go with him. She got him to do her homework. Wow, she must be pretty persuasive. You couldn't get me to do your homework, that's for sure. So yeah, this verb right here is always going to get the to. Okay, here's the verb, pronoun or person, rather, noun, right in here. Then the to, and then verb, infinitive. Okay. Let's talk about some other causative verbs that are going to get the infinitive to. So again, our structure is the verb, pronoun or noun, and then your infinitive, to go, to do, to think, to dance, to play, whatever that verb is. The first one we see here is allow. Oh, let's look at this one. The parents allowed him to go. Okay, and if I have any switch of the verb tense, it's going to happen here with this verb. The parents allow him to go out every night. That would be fact. The parents will allow him to go out tomorrow in the future. Let's look at permit. The museum did not permit us to take photographs. So once again, permit will always get the infinitive to take. Okay. Another verb that will always get the to is enable. And I think I talked about this earlier, right, with the scholarship. The scholarship enabled me to go to school. And of course, what's a causative verb without talking about cause, right? I have this sentence here. Art causes people to think. Cause will always have the to. Art causes people to think. And we've got a very strong causative verb to wrap things up here, force. His mom forced him to go to the doctor. His mom forced him to go. Okay. I hope that helps. Again, the main takeaway is when you write let or make or have in the causative sense, you want to indicate that this causes something to happen. No to. The parents let him go. The parents made him clean his room. She had him look at her computer. No to. But there are some other verbs that do require to, like get, and enabled, and allowed, and permitted. The parents permitted him to go out with his friends. She got him to do her homework. She caused him to worry about his test. She forced him to go outside. Strong. All require to. And the one verb that you can get away with that it doesn't matter what you do, to or no to, is help. He helped me to get a better score. He helped me get a better score. All right, that's it for this particular causative verb grammar point. Hope it helps, and I will see you next time.